Tuberculosis, or TB, is an ancient disease that has left its mark on humanity for thousands of years, shaping the course of civilizations and the fate of countless individuals. It has haunted humanity for millennia, silently spreading through communities and leaving devastation in its wake. Evidence of TB has been found in Egyptian mummies over 4,000 years old, showing that even the pharaohs and their families were not spared from its reach. The Greeks called it phthisis, meaning to waste away, a name that captured the slow, relentless decline it caused in its victims. In Europe, it became known as the White Plague for the pallor it caused, and its presence was felt in every corner of society. TB has shaped societies, inspired art and literature, and claimed countless lives across every continent, leaving a legacy that endures to this day. Many famous artists and writers suffered from TB, their struggles and experiences reflected in their creative work, adding a haunting depth to their stories and music. But for most people, TB was a slow, painful illness that devastated families and entire communities, often leaving behind grief and hardship. Its persistence through history reminds us of its resilience and adaptability as it continued to evolve and challenge each new generation. Before modern medicine, a persistent cough was a source of fear and stigma, often signaling a death sentence for those afflicted. Families often hid sick members to avoid panic and shame, isolating loved ones in hopes of protecting others from the disease. Our long battle with TB highlights both the progress we've made through science and medicine and the challenges that still remain in eradicating this ancient foe. Tuberculosis is an old and formidable enemy, and our fight against it continues today, demanding vigilance and determination. Understanding its long and complex history helps us appreciate the importance of ongoing vigilance, research, and innovation in the fight against TB. For centuries, the cause of tuberculosis was a mystery, blamed on heredity, bad air, or even weak character. The disease haunted cities and villages alike, striking down rich and poor, young and old, with little warning or mercy. These misconceptions made prevention and treatment impossible. People lived in fear, not knowing how to protect themselves or their loved ones from this invisible threat. Everything changed in the 19th century with the work of Robert Koch, a pioneering scientist whose determination would alter medical history. Koch, a German physician, spent years meticulously studying tissue samples from TB victims, searching for clues that others had missed. Using innovative staining techniques, he identified a single culprit, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, a tiny rod-shaped bacterium invisible to the naked eye. On March 24, 1882, Koch announced his discovery to the world, presenting undeniable evidence to a stunned audience of scientists. He didn't just see the bacterium, he proved it caused TB by isolating it, growing it in pure culture and infecting healthy animals, who then developed the disease. This breakthrough shattered old myths and revealed TB as an infectious disease, not a curse or a flaw in one's character. For the first time, doctors understood that TB could be prevented and controlled, opening the door to new strategies and hope. Hygiene, ventilation, and isolation became key strategies, transforming hospitals and public health policies around the world. Koch's discovery laid the foundation for all future TB research and treatment, inspiring generations of scientists to continue the fight. It gave humanity a clear target and a new sense of hope, showing that science could unravel even the oldest mysteries. The identification of the TB bacillus was a revolution in public health, sparking campaigns and education efforts worldwide. It marked the beginning of our scientific fight against this ancient plague and the dawn of a new era in medicine. With knowledge came the power to change the course of the disease, saving countless lives in the decades that followed. The world would never look at tuberculosis the same way again, as science illuminated the path from fear to understanding. Tuberculosis is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, a hardy bacterium that has evolved to survive in harsh conditions. This bacterium can persist in the human body for years, often without causing any immediate symptoms, making it especially challenging to detect and control. TB spreads through the air when someone with active disease in their lungs coughs, sneezes, laughs, or even speaks loudly, releasing tiny droplets. These microscopic droplets can linger in the air, and when others inhale them, the bacteria can enter their lungs. Crowded or poorly ventilated spaces increase the risk of transmission. Not everyone exposed to TB becomes sick right away. Many people develop what's called latent TB infection, where the bacteria remain dormant and cause no symptoms for months or even years. People with latent TB aren't contagious, but if their immune system weakens due to illness, age, or other factors, the bacteria can reactivate and cause active disease. Active TB disease occurs when the immune system can't contain the bacteria, leading to symptoms like coughing, fever, and weight loss, and making the person contagious to others. While the lungs are most commonly affected, TB can also spread to other parts of the body, such as the kidneys, spine, brain, and lymph nodes. This is known as extrapulmonary TB. Understanding the difference between latent infection and active disease is crucial for controlling TB and preventing outbreaks in communities. Breaking the chain of transmission starts with recognizing how TB spreads and taking steps to protect ourselves and others. Simple actions like improving ventilation, wearing masks in high-risk settings, and seeking early diagnosis can make a big difference in reducing TB's impact. TB's airborne nature makes it a persistent threat, especially in crowded or poorly ventilated environments where the bacteria can easily spread from person to person. Awareness of how TB is transmitted is the first step in prevention, empowering individuals and communities to take action. Stopping TB starts with understanding its invisible journey from person to person and working together to break the cycle of infection. The symptoms of active TB can be subtle at first, leading to dangerous delays in diagnosis. The most common sign is a persistent cough lasting 3 weeks or more, sometimes producing blood-streaked sputum. Other symptoms include unexplained weight loss, loss of appetite, fever, chills, and drenching night sweats. Extreme fatigue and a general feeling of being unwell are also common. These symptoms often develop slowly, making it easy to dismiss them as minor illnesses. During this time, a person with active TB can unknowingly spread the disease. If TB spreads beyond the lungs, symptoms depend on the affected organ. Severe back pain for spinal TB, headaches, and confusion for TB meningitis. Early recognition and prompt medical attention are critical for recovery and preventing further transmission. Don't ignore a persistent cough or unexplained symptoms. See a doctor. Early diagnosis saves lives and protects communities. Recognizing TB's warning signs is everyone's responsibility. Diagnosing TB starts with a thorough medical evaluation and questions about symptoms and possible exposure. Doctors use skin tests like the Mantoux test or blood tests, IgRAs, to detect TB infection. A positive test shows TB bacteria are present, but further tests are needed to distinguish between latent infection and active disease. Chest X-rays help identify lung abnormalities typical of active TB. The most definitive diagnosis comes from finding TB bacteria in sputum samples examined under a microscope or grown in culture. Modern molecular tests can detect TB DNA and drug resistance in just hours. Rapid, accurate diagnosis is essential for starting the right treatment quickly. Early detection helps stop the spread of TB. Timely diagnosis is the foundation of effective TB control. Tuberculosis is curable with the right treatment. Standard therapy uses a combination of 4 antibiotics for 6 months to prevent drug resistance and ensure all bacteria are killed. Strict adherence to the full course is vital. Stopping early can lead to relapse and drug-resistant TB. Directly observed therapy, DOT, helps patients complete treatment by providing support and supervision. Treating latent TB infection is simpler, usually involving 1 or 2 drugs for 3 to 9 months. By treating both active disease and latent infection, we break the cycle of transmission. Successful treatment protects individuals and communities. Completing every dose is key to a cure. TB control depends on effective, consistent treatment. Our progress against TB relies on patients, providers, and public health working together. Scientists are working to make TB treatment shorter, safer, and more effective. New drug combinations can cure drug-susceptible TB in just 4 months, improving patient adherence. Medications like bedaquiline and pritumanid offer hope for drug-resistant TB, enabling all oral regimens and fewer side effects. Shorter, more tolerable treatments are becoming the standard for multi-drug-resistant TB. Rapid molecular tests now diagnose TB and drug resistance in hours, not weeks. Research is underway for a better vaccine, as the current BCG vaccine offers limited protection for adults. Innovation in treatment, diagnostics, and prevention is transforming the fight against TB. continued investment in research is essential for progress. The future of TB control depends on new tools and global commitment. Despite progress, TB remains one of the world's deadliest infectious diseases. Drug-resistant TB is a growing threat, making treatment longer, more toxic, and less effective. Resistance develops when treatment isn't completed properly, endangering global health. TB and HIV form a deadly combination. HIV weakens the immune system, making TB more likely and harder to treat. Social factors like poverty, overcrowding, and limited healthcare access fuel the spread of TB. Stigma prevents many from seeking help, worsening the epidemic. Addressing TB requires more than medicine. It demands tackling inequality and improving living conditions. Integrating TB and HIV care is vital for saving lives. The fight against TB is a fight against both disease and social injustice. Only a comprehensive approach can bring us closer to ending TB. Protecting ourselves from TB starts with awareness and early action. Recognizing symptoms and seeking prompt care helps stop the spread. Testing and treating latent TB infection prevents future cases. Good ventilation and infection control in homes, schools, and healthcare settings are essential. Supporting global TB programs ensures more people are diagnosed and cured. Continued research is needed for better tests, shorter treatments, and a more effective vaccine. Ending TB requires political will, investment, and united effort. The story of TB is one of suffering, resilience, and scientific triumph. By working together, we can make TB a disease of the past. The fight is not over, but a TB-free future is within our reach.